Hello and welcome to the Sweaty the Farmer and the game design, where you can find all the lost runes, enchantments and miracles inside our delicious capsicum at just $9.99, getting now or repent forever. This is episode number 14, Poems by the Rebels. I am the learning gamer as the Sweaty.
And I am Lucho the Farmer. Thanks for joining us in this episode this week. Stay a while and listen.
Please do. But before that, let's take a look at this week's news. We have three big dockets fresh off the presses, my friends. Diablo 3 patch 2.6.7 kicks off season 19. We already have a date for the start of season. BioWare plans a complete overhaul for Anthem. Oh my god. Path of Exile is getting a sequel. All right. Excited for the news, my friend?
Kind of.
Kind of? Alright, so Diablo 3, patch 2.6.7. And we already have season 19 starts. This big patch comes with two new sets, the new Crusader set and the Monk set, right?
Yep.
And the patch is already out with some tweaks to the set, some balanced stuff. Like they've been getting like recently a very good feedback look with the community. They even released like I think yesterday a small fix for the patch, and they kind of now they're kind of like changing that patch cycle where they're giving like more bigger windows for them to make adjustments to the actual patches. Right? Because before that, they would just like have a week. So they just release the patch and then they do the fixes like on the next season, right? Now they did like a small patch. They disabled legendary. They enabled some stuff. They buffed some of the sets that were weak. Especially the monk set, which is it is built around the Tempest Rush ability. It was still a little bit weak in the testing, but like all the big Diablo 3 community streamers and everything and everybody just tested, and they give them the feedback, and straight away when they announced the season 19 start, which is Friday the 22 at 1 p.m.
So this coming Friday.
Yeah, this coming Friday 22 November. And they adjust the damage and they adjust some of the legendary items. They have like this very, I guess they're trying to I'm feeling that this is very intentional. They try to get the community, the Diablo 3 community, really happy for the Diablo 4. They have to gain back that trust from the community. I think but not only that, but they're like getting better at listening to feedback on the community. And they promise us like to put like a lot of put like powers in a lot of legendaries that don't have power. They don't have any effects to balance the new sets that they're gonna come out with this rotation. And we're gonna have a new set for each class, including the Necromancer. In this patch, we're gonna have the Crusader and the Monk. Probably in the next patch, we will have better things. So the community is like right now really happy because they've been seeing that the developers that are not in charge for the Diablo 3 are listening to everything they are giving feedback, and they're doing like the correct adjustments, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long as they can keep up the policy with Diablo 4 when it launches, and the live support is as flexible as our current support for Diablo 3 is, yeah. So
yeah, well, on that note, I will tell you that on the forums where all this information about feedback and all that was posted, it was announced that soon we will get a blog post from the developers for the Diablo 4 feedback that everybody has been giving. Like what kind of conversation are they having? So they're already opening like a big avenue of talks with the community for Diablo 4.
Yeah, I mean that's all nice and good. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, are you excited for
I'm
any
skeptical.
of the two new sets?
I don't. You know that those are the two classes that I play the least.
Yeah, Crusader and Monk. I guess.
And I don't like Monk in general. So
yeah, you don't like Monk. It's my favorite class, and you don't like it at all.
No, I find it like really boring to play.
There you go. There you go. Everyone has different tastes, my friends. We have very different taste.
Yeah, we have very different tastes when it comes to
Yeah, I'm really excited.
classes and
Yeah, I'm really excited for the Crusader one. I really like the changes they did and what they're doing with the class. I've grown myself like liking it more and more, that Paladin Crusader kind of like fantasy for some reason. So there you go. I'm really excited about the Crusader class. This is the one that I'm gonna probably play.
nice.
Yeah, especially because I play hardcore and that class is so good in hardcore.
Yeah, it has a lot of survivability. I know
Yeah.
it's
And
good mobility as
now,
well.
yeah, and now for our next thingy, Majingi. Apparently from the same guy who brought us that Anthem was a disaster in development, or good friend Jason Schreier, the best like investigative
The
game.
only
Yeah.
real game journalist.
Yes, exactly. The only serious Greek journalist who actually wears suits in their pictures, just by that standard.
A serious guy.
He's like very serious with him investigating work, and he's like taking very seriously whenever, like, his person, like, as every human being, his personality is not the best, because I've seen some interviews with him, and he's not like the best. He has like weird points of view, but that's besides the case. His work is very good. Like besides that, he's a weird person. His work is very good every time he comes with an investigator, and he's very accurate. He protects his sources. He's really good at his job, right?
That's what matters for us.
Yes, that's what matter. Exactly, that's what matter for us. So he tells us that BioWare is coming with a plan for kind of remaking Atom. So listen to this. You're aware that at some point in these last months, like, the main developer were gone, Ben Irvin of Anthem, and then the person who took the baton went out of the studio too, right? And then on top of that, like 4 or 5 live service developers were out of the project too, and everybody was saying, "All right, Anthem is finally dead. We all hope to Bioware to move on from his disaster and just work in the in what is the name of the game, in Dragon Age Inquisition 4, in Dragon Age 4, and to learn from his mistakes and move on." But apparently not. Apparently they're trying to do a comeback a la Destiny 2 Forsaken, a la what is this game which is a disaster in space and stuff? I forgot the name.
I have no idea.
It's very a la No Man's Sky. Next.
Oh,
Yeah.
got it. Yeah.
Which is now a very good game. We see the No Man's Sky next, and they took like a year to fix the game, completely overhaul them. So they're trying to do that, right? They're calling like Anthem 2.0 or Anthem Next inside. And they probably not only have the Austin studio, which is the live server studio that now is in control of Anthem, what it is now, but apparently they are involving a lot of developers from all the studios of BioWare in trying to rebuild in this. So the opinions are mixed. Some people in the community are very happy that they're actually giving Anthem a pass. Some other people are saying like they should like let it die and just like move on into Dragon Age 4. What do you think about it?
I mean, if they believe in, like, if they have a clear vision for the game and
Yeah.
they believe that the person or the people in charge are moving towards the right place,
Yeah.
go ahead. It's a risky move, and it's a brave move from BioWare, because it's just putting money into something that they are not sure is gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So it's a brave move. But if they believe, like, it just seems that they believe in what they have in mind right now, which I applaud. That's brave, and
yeah.
I cannot judge for that. You know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Am I interested? Kind of.
All right, cool.
It's,
Yeah.
if it really becomes one of those comeback stories. Will be interesting to see how it goes
Yeah,
because it will be a tale for the future. You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
thing. Like that. It's like we're in this like we're in this weird state where BioWare as a studio hasn't had a win since like Mass Effect 3, right? And that was like since Mass Effect 3 they haven't had like a blockbuster, right? And they wasted all this money and all these resources in like Mass Effect Andromeda was a disaster, and now Anthem was a disaster. So the question, in terms of a business, like from a business perspective, the question is like, do I spend all this money to actually gain a little bit of like trust back? How much money is worth that trust on our customers in a combination of EA and Bioware? Because like like the logical business approach will be like, all right, yeah, Anthem didn't sell, it was terrible, we are not wasting it, his development process was a huge waste of money, we will try not to waste any more money on it and just shut it down, and then super focus into Dragon Age 4, make it like the best possible, right? But they're taking the other approach. Like it made sense. It made sense for No Man's Sky because they're like an independent studio that were bought, and it's the first game, so they have to go. They kind of are in a best position to just work on the game and make it like a very good presentation card and that sort of stuff, right? For Destiny 2, it was kind of like the same position, but the things like Destiny 2 already have like a very good base of a game in terms of gameplay, etc., etc., and they just overhaul the other side of the game inside of the constraints that Activision put for them, right? They didn't lose as much momentum with Destiny 2 as Anthem did for BioWare. So I don't know, like is the investing of like a lot of manpower and money worth it for the studios? Worth it for EA? That's actually my
If
question.
if it ends up working, it will.
It will be worth it? Yeah, you think that
Because it will be the greatest comeback of all time. Like a game that was declared that like in the first month after release.
yeah. It'll be. I
If
think it'll be
it,
like a super. Like if they actually like from a business perspective, it makes no sense, right? Because you will have to
I
like
think,
practically.
I think, no, I think it does because it could cement like the mythical status of the studio. Like they brought it back, you know, like like if you're the guy behind the team
Yeah,
that revive Anthem,
yeah, yeah.
that's a power move. Like, you know,
Okay, okay, okay. So yeah, all right, all right. That's very interesting. So you're saying that
I'm saying it's a high risk, high reward bet. That's all I'm saying.
that is true. That's the thing. Like that is definitely the thing. Like
So is it worth it? Is it not? It could be a hail mary, and if it fails, Bioware could disappear after that. It's fine.
they will still probably like release Dragon Age 4 because that's like that should be like more than over half of the development cycle, and like they're very close
Sure,
for Dragon
but
Age 4 to be finished. But like yeah, if they don't invest, if they invest all this money in bringing back this franchise, it doesn't work. Like it's super risky, right? Like because for the beginning, because they have such a bad rep, they should like for the people who has Anthem as a like what they aim what from a business perspective, what they aim to do is resell Anthem as a new thing, right? To all those people who didn't buy it the first go around, to all those people who just buy the pass for it and test the game and it was trash, right? Right? They want to
maybe
bring those people back
I
because
don't. I don't know if
that will be the
that's
profit from the relaunch, right? And your evangelists will be the people who stuck with the Anthem. So if the move is to like regain trust, the first thing they should do is like kind of give you the new overhaul Anthem game to the old Anthem people that plays Anthem. Just like have it, you can have it, you can have the new overhaul, and like they're overhauling like the majority of the system, like 80% of the game is being like retool and etc., right?
No, again, you're missing something. That's I don't think they will do that because the whole point is that if for whatever reason you get uh the game ends up being good and like people start talking about it,
Yeah,
like people would like to take part in it just for the fear of missing out. That's all.
of course. You can always count on the FOMO, but but
Will I
still,
play it? No, because I think the world is kind of boring. But
I don't know. They're talking about like retooling the actual game world to make it like instant based, so they are more flexible with stuff. They're talking about like a bunch of stuff, like almost
I know
remaking this game.
that doesn't change that I find the base idea of the game kind of boring.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Fair enough.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't think this is gonna happen anytime soon. If this is gonna happen, right?
This is not gonna happen soon.
Yeah.
No one is saying that.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the concept of the game, like the flying suits. I always like and like I will like that enduring the movement of the game and the flying and etc. etc.
It's too simple. It lacks personality.
Of course, it lacks personality because all the like that's the base, but the all the other things around it are trash. So if you cannot elevate that concept with the rest of the things, like it's not that attractive
Um,
at the end of the day.
no, I think you can have a really strong base. It's just this base for me is just trash.
Yeah, we will see. We will see what happened with the game. The game, I insist. I when it first launched, without seeing all the things that happened, I feel it interesting. The gameplay and the concept of flying is not been done before.
What?
So what?
Because you mean flying was not done before?
Free flying through the open world? No, it hasn't done before. At that extent, like interwave
It
with the
didn't
combat.
it didn't feel that innovative when like the gameplay didn't feel that amazing. It just
Okay,
felt super generic, to be honest.
okay, all right.
I didn't feel the amusement of oh I'm flying. It just felt clunky and boring.
Okay. All
That's what
right.
I'm saying. Like I don't see I don't the game is not for me. I don't see anything in the game that appeals to me.
Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, that could be
So
it.
I'm not gonna play the game no matter what.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I still would like to see. I want them to succeed just because it will make a good story. That's
Fair enough. Yeah, and I think that's the most like valuable part of these things. Like just Bioware regaining his spunk,
I don't give a shit about Bioware. It's not about them.
the
It's just a
story,
good
the
comeback story.
narrative.
Like
You're more interested in the narrative, the
yeah,
comeback. All right, fair enough. Yeah, that is valid. But anyway, any Anthem fans out there, this is happening apparently, or investigative. Jason Schreier comes with the hottest news.
we'll see. It's interesting. I'm just amazed by the braveness of whoever took the decision of
I
sticking
know,
with the game.
right?
That's nice. Yeah,
Yeah, and the fact that EA approved this is like. Anyways, moving on to our last news is very cool. It is Path of Exile is getting a sequel. So this was yesterday, I think was. ExileCon happened. They're getting their own con. They have like their resources. Path of Exile is one of these games which are like a very interesting story because the first two chapters of the campaign of the game were developed by just three people, right? And now they're a big studio, by of course some Chinese overlords, but that's beside the point.
all the video game companies are owned by Chinese overlords.
Yes. But they announced a sequel as weird as Overwatch 2. So what they announced is this is the next. They're doing a 5 chapters new story campaign 2 years after the first campaign, but they're stocking them together, right? So what they're doing is like they were planning, but what they say is that they were planning at like 2 more chapters for the main campaign of one, but they found that the campaign was getting like ridiculously long. Like right now, the Path of Exile campaign has like 6, 7 chapters, and it takes forever to clear like a chapter, right? So what they're doing is they're making a second part of the story, but the first part will be still available. So what they're saying is like this is the slogan: one game, 2 campaigns, right? And they're calling it Path of Exile 2, but it's one game, 2 campaigns. So what is gonna happen? You're gonna have a 5 story campaign, and you can choose between doing the first one or the second one, right? The end game is gonna be the same for whoever chooses, and all the engine overhauls and the skills modification and all that is gonna be the same, right? And all the microtransactions and all the things. So no, so everybody that plays Path of Exile 1 is not going to lose any of their currencies, any of their items, or their progressions, because that's super relevant on the Path of Exile community, having like currencies to trade items, etc., etc. Right? The engine looks a lot nicer than the original, and they're kind of streamlining some of the weird and endearing system from Path of Exile, right? They changed the way the gems work. You don't have any longer to socket into the items, but the items have like 3 sockets. Like it's different. I don't know what they're gonna do with the insane tree, the insane passive skills tree that they have behind it. They didn't. We have no information at the moment what they're gonna do with that. We'll probably have more information today, because today there's gonna be a series of streamers like testing the demo for Path of Exile 2. So I'm hoping that they overhaul that system too, to give what we want from Path of Exile, to lower that entry point of the players, because
I don't want that.
But I was gonna. All right, you just cut me off. I lost my train of thought.
I don't want
It
them to
is-
lower the barrier of entry of the game.
It is lower. No, the thing is like you lower the bar of entrance of the game, but you don't lose complexity. Right? That's the point. Right? So it can be accessible, but you don't lose complexity in the game.
I'm not sure those two things are.
Magic has been doing it for a long time, and the game's still as complex as in back in the day.
Yeah, but Magic is not a video game. Magic is a card game. They're completely different things.
That is now a video game.
Which is still just the game. Like, it's still just a card game.
I know, but like that's kind of the objective, right? You just
I don't think that's possible.
what, lower the bar of entrance without losing complexity? Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is. You just make better UI systems. Just make better interfaces. Make easier to read.
I don't think that's
Clean up
the solution.
stuff. Yeah, that's what you do. That's what you do.
I think. Do you remember Steve? He did an interview a long time ago for No Clip, and
what are you talking about? Steve from
Warframe.
All right, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Steve Sinclair. All right.
Steve Sinclair, yeah, and the guy who's doing the interview asked him why can the game, Warframe cannot retain more people, and his answer is that people are smart and then they see the complexity no matter what.
Yes.
And I agree with that. Like, no matter how streamlined something is, like, you can see the complexity in the games no matter what, and as soon as you see it, you make a decision: are you going to invest the time or not in the game?
Yes.
So no matter how, like if you're going to have something that is deep and complex, people are going to see it no matter what, and just if you're not willing to put the time, you're just not going to get into it.
That is true, but like my point is like get as many players as you can to that point, right? To that point
No,
where
no,
they have to
but the
make a
point is that
decision.
you can see it pretty straightforward. Like the point is that it is fairly easy to see for most games how complex they are.
Okay, yeah, I will give you that. Yes,
Because
yes.
people and that I agree with. Like people are smart enough to sniff the complexity of on the games.
All right. Then maybe I'm talking about like managing the complexity better.
Yeah, you can clean up,
Yeah, exactly.
streamline,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
if you're gonna have the deepness and complexity, if you wanna keep that, that's the biggest
Yeah.
barrier for the game.
They will they absolutely are keeping that, right? They're like
Yeah,
for
but
what I'm seeing, they're absolutely keeping that. Yeah.
and
The
and and that's fine. But like, I feel like in that sense, Path of Exile has the same problem as Warframe, as they have really deep systems,
yes.
and you can smell it like from the beginning.
Yes, yes, yes.
So no matter, and the point is just no matter how streamlined you do some of the things around the game, the UI, the whatever,
Yeah.
like you still see it and you make a decision. Do I want to invest the time that this is gonna require or not?
Yeah,
And
you
that's a
still have
pretty
it.
early on decision for most games.
Yeah, yeah. But I do
That
like the way they're cleaning up stuff. Like that's the thing.
that's
For
oh
me I love.
that's all nice and good. I'm just saying that if like I see those things have quality of life changes and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that that's probably not gonna help get more people into a game. That's just gonna make the people who are already willing to put the time happier. And
Okay,
there's
fair enough.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, the game looks way better with the new engine. That's always a thumbs up. Like when I remember when I tried Path of Exile, like I don't know, I think it was like June, something like that, in August. At the beginning of this year, I tried for a while, and like it always reminds me of that old Diablo 2
Yeah, it
engine.
has that feel. Yep.
Yeah, it has that feel. But now they're kind of modernized. It looks so much better, so much cleaner. The light is better, and just like overall cool. And they show a little bit of like the gem system, which are keeping them, but are making like more like tighter. And I hope that they overhaul the tree system. Have you seen the
Yeah, and
passive skill tree
I
system?
like it.
The thing
Yeah,
is
I
like it
like it.
has a bunch of stuff. It has a bunch of stuff on it that is like kind of like pointless.
I still like it.
Like like what everybody keeps saying about this system is like you should like condense some nodes, right? Like you should like make it like not less complex, but like you should get rid of of points of departure which makes no sense. Or if you want to go from A to B, you are wasting like some points in things that really make no difference on the long run.
Oh, that I don't know.
Yeah,
I like how the tree looks. I have never been that deep into a game.
that's
I
that.
have no opinion about it, but
Yeah, fair enough.
I like for me that huge as passive skill tree
Yeah,
is a really endearing part of the game. So I
yeah.
don't mind them keeping it
I think they need to.
massive.
That's the same with the new way to do. They just need to do a little bit of cleanup. Like the way that they construct the patchery, some nodes are super cool. Like when you think about your build and that sort of stuff, some points and it forces you to make real decisions of what you want to do in your character, right? But there are a lot of things that are pointless and like they're like small increments and like they have zero impact on whatever you're trying to do. They just like waste points to get you to the very cool notes of the tree, right? So we just want to like clean up that sort of stuff and get rid of those pointless things that makes no sense inside the tree. That's it, right? We don't want them to be less complex, just like that your decision makes more impact when you're building a tree instead of like I know that I have to go from point A to point B and whatever is in between is like almost
I don't
irrelevant.
know. Usually you have to be really careful with that. Usually when you try
Absolutely.
to do that, you end up simplifying things too much
Yes,
most of the time.
That is true.
So I don't know. I'm really skeptical of doing that.
That's what I want. That's what I want. It would be so much.
I don't want that. I want just the game to pile up more layers of complexity on top of them.
The game is pretty complex.
I know, and I just want them to keep piling it up. I don't care.
I'm talking about like the base, like one of the base systems that needs a little bit of an update, and that's it, right? The rest you have like all the leaks, all the like. I think it's like
from outside. 8? I don't think it does need that.
I think it needs a little bit of cleanup in that system. Like if the thing is that you haven't experimented, and it's like very dumb at some points.
I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people in the community who want the thing to stay as it is.
Probably, but the overall consensus, like the tree needs a little bit of a cleanup. Not to change radically, not to be more simplistic. No, it needs a cleanup at some things that makes no sense when you are getting to your stuff, right? To be like things like you like ultimately you want to feel that your decisions inside the tree are important, right? And in the moment, in the moment, like in the moment as the tree is in Path of Exile right now, the only decision that you take is where you're going, right? And that's it. And you just pass through the nodes, and you just select the nodes that you're doing, and then you make the calculations. That's it, right? That's the end, right? And the real decision comes into like a very, very small tree of the ascendancies. When those three actually make like a big difference in whatever build you're trying to make, right?
Okay, and
what?
And what's the problem with that? I don't see any problem with that.
The problem is that you have a bunch of like what's the word I'm looking for? On like not satisfying travel in the skill tree till you get to your ascendancy, and then you start to see what the tree makes difference. But the rest of the things, like kind of like you care about like 2 or 3 points in the tree, and the rest is just garbo that you just click and go through it, right? Like the tree has to be like, that system has to be like impactful in some shape, way, or form. But right now it's not that impactful. It's not impactful at all. There's some points that makes like you level like 6, 7, 8 levels inside that, and you see no difference. That's the point.
I don't see anything inherently wrong with that.
Okay. So you tell me that at some points leveling up has no meaning. It has no point.
It's not that it doesn't have a point. It's just part of the journey to arrive to a place that you want to arrive.
Yes, that is true, but it should have meaning that you should feel like you're progressing when you're leveling up. That's the point, right? Like the skill tree,
I don't know.
Like you don't see any difference in what you're doing to your skill tree till you get to like level 100 and something, when you actually get to the nodes, to the ascendancy nodes, and then you see the whatever your skill are you're getting into, right? If it's like, it's zero satisfying to go to that skill tree and put like points on it because they make no difference till like very late into the game.
Yeah, but that could be a question of, do you want instant satisfaction, or
you don't want instant satisfaction? You want constant sense of progress.
That's instant satisfaction.
That's not instant. That's constant sense of progress. That you're leveling up, you're progressing into whatever goal you're getting there.
But you are progressing to a goal because you're leveling up.
I just tell you what happened, right?
Yeah, but you're still progressing. You just don't feel it.
Exactly. You need to feel that you're progressing. If not, you get like unmotivated to do anything. It's like, I don't feel like nothing is happening. Like, all right. The only interesting part of are the actual like skill crystals. That's the only thing that feels like interesting, satisfying, to get the skill crystal in that. But once you like, you get to you get to skill satisfaction very early in the game.
Eh, I don't see that as a problem that much, honestly. It's the
Okay.
same problem that leveling up in WoW has. That a lot of the time you're just moving a bar and getting a number that doesn't mean anything,
Yes.
and you don't get you don't get anything out of each level, and
And
you
that's
don't.
why they're compressing that leveling up system, don't they?
That's fair. I don't think it's necessary.
Like
I still
if
don't
I
think it's
if
necessary.
I was playing WoW just for the leveling, I would probably have quit like around 20 or 30,
Yeah,
right? What is more
but the
attractive for me to WoW so far has been the story and the sites, right? And the quest and the endearing thing of the quest. But the leveling process has been like half of slog.
I I don't like when I level up, and if I only do it, for example, by spamming dungeons, I use the time to learn the class
Yes.
without having like a new skill every level. And
Yes.
part of me appreciates that because I have time to learn it.
That is okay.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't see anything wrong with the process being a little bit sluggish and slow. I don't need to get anything new each level.
It would be nice though that you feel stronger each level.
Not not really, because I need my time to learn the class.
Mm,
And when I get a new skill, I need to include it in the rotation.
hmm.
And that takes mastering for me.
Okay.
That's, for
Yeah.
example, why I would
Well,
never boost a character in WoW.
yeah, but the thing is like they're kind of like, well, they have like a difference there between the two games
I
because
know. I'm just giving you example.
yeah, yeah, I
I'm
know.
not saying that's what happens with Path of Exile. I'm just giving you example of a learning process that I do know is sluggish, and I do know people don't like it because like you gain levels and nothing happens during those
Yeah.
levels,
Well, there you go. You just say
and people don't like it.
people
I'm
don't
just
like
saying,
it.
like for me,
For you, it's
it's
fine.
perfectly
Yeah,
fine.
it's fine. It's fine.
Why? Because I need the time to learn the classes.
That's okay. Yeah.
If I reach some point where I have tried all the classes, yeah, maybe at that point I wouldn't need it anymore.
Yeah, but the thing is like difference there is between a skill. We were talking about like passive. Yeah, to bring it together, my point is like passive. For an example, in what will happen if each level you get like a little bit more percentage in a passive instead of getting a skill directly? That will give you the time to learn the
Yeah,
class while still feeling
but
the
again,
progression.
just getting the problem is exactly that you probably get a boost on the stats.
Yeah.
You're a tiny little bit stronger
Yeah.
because all your numbers are a little bit bigger,
Yes.
but that doesn't feel impact.
It does. It depends on how much do you turn that knob.
Fair, but you cannot turn it too much because then it just runs out of control.
That depends. That's a balancing problem. That's a balancing problem. Yes, it is.
I'm pretty sure if you increase all the numbers each level by a 10%, you wouldn't feel the difference each level. Like you'll see the numbers changing from, oh, I'm doing 70 damage to, oh, now I'm doing 77 damage. That doesn't feel impactful
Fair enough.
because you don't pay attention to those things.
All right. Anyways, the announce is nice. It looks very nice. The sequel looks very nice. I'm very happy that they integrate all the players into one product right now. Old players and new players that can experience just the new part of Exile story, which is like very much better paced than the first chapters of the game.
How much do you think these news are influenced by the
Diablo
announcement of
4.
Diablo 4?
I don't
Because
know.
part of it,
Yeah.
no, like okay, let's be honest. People knew that Diablo 4 was going to be announced months ago.
Absolutely, yes.
So even years ago, like
Yeah.
Like basically last year, like after last year's BlizzCon, people knew that Diablo 4 was gonna be announced.
Yeah, they were already saying that. Oh, yeah, it was gonna be announced, but we
And
didn't do
you
it.
could, I'm not saying this is the case,
Yeah.
but you could make an argument for maybe they had this idea of this huge patch update with all the story and all the thing. I'm not saying they never planned for this.
Yeah.
Maybe it was already planned,
Yeah.
but maybe they changed the way that they were selling it. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know. Yeah, that could be like marketing moves. Makes sense.
It's that, yeah, it sounds, I'm just saying that it sounds like that. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that it was motivated by that. They probably already have planned all the content and all the stuff and all the revamping of the engine, because those are things that you have to plan with years ahead. Like
Yes.
you cannot make those decisions in a split second.
Yes, that is true.
So everything was probably already there. It just faced with the Diablo for like competence, you have to come out with smart marketing schemes.
Yep. And on top of that, they announced that they're doing a mobile version of the game.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
A la Diablo Immortal, but with less backlash.
I don't care.
Okay. All right, and that's it.
I mean, I'm just saying I don't care about the mobile version
Yeah,
of the game.
yeah. But yeah, it looks good. We will have to try it. The Path of Exile.
Seriously, I have tried it.
Yeah, we have to try it seriously. It's a nice game. But I think I'll probably try it more seriously when the sequel comes, just for the quality of life changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
probably won't try it if I were to be completely honest with myself. I probably won't try it.
No,
No, I have enough games to play.
that is fair. That's absolutely fair. Anyways, that's it for the news of this week. Now we're gonna move to our main topic.
Yeah, now we're moving deep into
And it's into deep
into
deep.
into Diablo's lore and its colorfulness, I guess.
Before that, our disclaimer as is usual. We have to put the disclaimer. That the discussion here is based on our own opinions and our own in-game experiences. Well, we can be wrong about some stuff. We can be inaccurate about it. We are kind of trying to aim maybe to be game journalists in the future. Maybe we don't know yet. But that's the disclaimer. The majority of things are our own opinions. So let's start with a deep dive, sir.
Yeah.
Just what?
Sorry?
Story delivery.
Yeah.
That you want to Dark Arcane to narrate your life? Apparently. You want an old man following you, telling you, and then he went to the toilet.
Basically.
And then he made
I like Dark Arcane. Like it was I just remember how Diablo 2 felt at the time that I played it, and it always felt like Dark Arcane was always had an interesting story to tell.
Yeah.
And that made the game super endearing to me. Like I'll go out and kill monsters, and I'll go back and I'll listen to his stories.
Back in the world. Back in the beginning. That's like very endearing voice.
I like him. I like the story allure. I like the old man telling me tales of the past kind of trope. So that's
should consider working I don't know, in a old house, ancient house. What's the name? A retire home.
Why?
Find the old man who tells you stories every time. No?
No, because I don't want to take care of the old man.
Just want to
listen to stories. Yeah.
Fair enough. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
That's all you're saying. The better beautiful story. That's stuff, and it become like a real staple of
It
Diablo.
did.
Like it become the symbol of Diablo. There.
Not only that, but I have always felt like the way that Diablo delivers, at least Diablo 1 and Diablo 2,
Yeah,
and that got lost a little bit in Diablo 3, sadly,
because he
is
died.
that it always felt to me that it was like a tale of a long time ago.
Yeah,
It always felt like that to me.
yeah, like that oral tradition of like this happened so long
Yeah,
ago, telling you
and
this
I
very
really,
interesting.
yeah, I really enjoyed it. I was really fond of that, and that got lost, sadly, a little bit in Diablo 3. And not only because of the death of Decker Kane, but I don't know, the way that the story is told, like, lost a little bit of that narration kind of thing
Of that
of this is a
mystery
tale to
kind of thing.
fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's because like things in Diablo 3 are very global, very accelerated, very like breaking point. It's more of a if you compare it to movies like Diablo 2, 1 and 2 is more of a I don't know, a civil war or like Ant-Man kind of story. Is very personal, very not that like absolutely world destroying reaching from the perspective you see, and then Diablo 3 was more of an Avengers like event.
Yeah, but you can probably still find a way to tell that story and make it feel like a story of all titans. You know what I mean?
Yes, 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 yes.
Of these mythical Nephilim or creatures of old. That's the feeling that I like out Diablo 2 especially.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That
But
I miss a lot.
in Diablo 3, just give it upfront. You're the Nephilim, you're the hero, and then you have to go and save us, and etc.
I
etc.
I agree. I
Yeah,
agree, and that's what I'm saying, that I miss
that enduring storytelling.
that it's just a feeling. Is not even a way of telling the story.
Yes, yes, yes. It's fair enough. Fair
It's
enough.
just by the way that it was, by the type of mission that you would do. It felt like that kind of.
All right.
I guess that's all I'm saying. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah,
I think maybe it has to be. It has to do. It has a relationship too with the pace of the game. Like you went back to the thing, and then you tell your story, and then you went out and kind of experienced that the
but during
remnants
the
on the story on the world.
yeah, but during the campaign you do the same thing. Like in
Yeah.
Diablo 3. I don't know. Like for whatever reason, Act 3, no, Act 2 in Diablo 4, in Diablo 3,
Yeah.
it
When,
felt kind of. Uh,
this is when you go
Not
to the
that.
desert, right? And then you have to
Yeah,
find the tomb of the wizard, the dude that gives you the
yeah,
cube. Yeah.
yeah. But that story never felt like, even though, for example, even though we're going to ruins and we're trying to discover the home of this old wizard or old guy,
Yeah.
it never felt like we're really going into the past, like
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
adventure to discover the past.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
never
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
like that. I don't know. It just, for example, the city never felt old and lived. It felt like super clean and polish.
Yeah, but that has to do with like like the style of Diablo 3. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the mood didn't like the mood and the style of Diablo 3 from Diablo 2 didn't like work as much
I
for
don't.
the story that they were trying to tell.
I can see that, but for example, Act One
Yeah.
feels a little bit more than that, like more closer to what I'm describing.
Yeah, because the
Like,
mood is more like, oh, the terror and this village all like is a little bit more dark than the other acts to start with. and you have like zombies going around and this like very bluish, darkish kind of like,
But
and
it's
you're
not.
going back to twist them and the whole stuff.
But it's more than that. It's like the type of mission that you do is go to places and look at all these like old houses and look for stuff in bodies, and it just felt old. And the tunnels in the city in Act Two, they didn't feel old. They felt new.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just some of the acts. I don't think it's a general. It's not the general feeling for the game. Is that for most part of the game, it didn't feel like that. And
Yeah.
again, when you go to High Heavens, the High Heaven never felt lived in. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Have lived in. Well, if you think about angels, how much lived in they can be in a seat of angels. But yeah, you're right. You're
It
right.
can. Like, why not?
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like, it could feel old. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
like an old Mount Olympus kind of feeling.
yeah, yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, I see where
That
you're coming from.
that it still feels fantastical and like angelical in a sense,
Angelica. Yeah.
but rusty, and I don't know, like old. Like, I want the game to feel old, like that.
Okay. That's your feedback for Diablo 4. I want the game to feel old.
I want things to feel old. Like I'm going to places to discover like all these stories
Yeah,
and
ancient
places
history.
that,
And yeah, yeah.
yeah, I like that feeling. And
Yeah,
Diablo 2 especially had that. Like,
yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Absolutely.
that's
That's the thing
that's what
about
I'm
the
saying.
that's the feeling that gives you all the mood and the Decker Kane narration and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and I think Becker Kane encapsulates that
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely
to
agree. Yeah.
is the purest distillation of that feeling of stay a while and listen.
Stay a while, listen.
That's
I absolutely
that's what
agree
I'm
with you.
saying.
All right. A big cosmology brought down to Earth. So why are we talking about this?
Uh, because I was thinking about what the story of Diablo is, and it is a story about like the cosmology of the game. No, like there is nothing more powerful. Like like what's the beginning of what's the story of the creation in Diablo? Like there was this guy who was alone in the universe, and it was the
Yes.
only thing
Yes, correct.
that came
Alun.
across. I forgot his name. Yeah,
Alun was his name.
Alun. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he did something, and he created this other thing that was pure evil, and
He's
they exploded themselves, and out of the evil guy just came demons, and out of the good
all
guy
right.
angels,
I
and
will
that's the
clarify.
world that we're living in.
I will clarify. He was a unique being, and he was alone on board, as all unique beings in the silence and void of nothingness of the reality they can exist. So he decides to make himself a partner, and what he did was split himself into into
That's what I
facets.
said. He split himself.
Yeah, he destroyed himself to create stuff. So the bad part of him, who was like his lower part, intestines and a bunch of random stuff, like has to be with the way that he destroyed his own body to create stuff.
And the small details.
Yeah, and then like his bowels and stuff became hell, and then his spine and head become like progenitor of heaven, but he was in conflict with his bad side. And it was something like that. It's like a very long and complicated story. And from his spine comes the angels, and from the other part of his body comes the demons, and they are conflict forever because their two sides of good and evil were in conflict. Basically, the creation is tale of Diablo 3, of Diablo in general, the alone tale.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that that's the tale that we're living in. Is
Yeah,
not. So that's how the universe was created, and
yeah,
that's the tale that we're living. So in
yeah,
that sense, that's what I'm saying, that we're living in the cosmology of the game. You know,
yes, yes,
it's not
yes,
like
yes.
the game. It's not like the world was created millions of years ago and stuff like that. No, it's just these are the same angels and same demons. That for sure they are all things,
Yes,
but
but
they're the
yeah,
same demons and the same
that
angels.
been fighting for 10,000 years.
Yeah, but they're the same, and we as
Yeah,
Nephilim, like the players Nephilim, are part of that same war. So that's why it feels like
yeah,
it's part of
absolutely.
the cosmology.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like we're like in all sense, Diablo brings you even like that sense of like old story, but it brings you to clarity that this conflict is still happening. And of course, if you dive deep into, we were super simplifying this, but if you dive deep into the lore, there's a bunch of like twists and turns and people who did things, and then other primordial players that work around the sanctuary. But I think for me the most interesting thing is like the way that sanctuary was created and why it was created. I think for me, in terms of the lore, that's a very very cool thing. Because
Elaborate, because you're not saying anything.
what do you mean that I'm not saying anything?
Elaborate your idea, because I don't know what you mean.
I mean that I find it super interesting that the way that sanctuary was created was because demons and angels were tired of just fighting because of fighting. They decide to like stop fighting and start loving themselves or each other to be exact. And then they stole stuff, and then they made a separate world to refugee from the war, and then that war becomes super important to actually the balance of the war. But it's like it's not like, my point is not like humans or Nephilim as we know just came out from the creation still. They came out as a result of the conflict in the creation still. That's the interesting thing, that we are not directly connected to that creation being, but we are made in the world of sanctuary by the mistakes of the conflict, by the compromise of the actors, right? Because in the majority of creation still, we as humans are a creation from the overall being, right? And in the place of sanctuary, we are not a creation of the overall being. We're a combination of their creations, right? We're not made by the will of a higher, but we're made by like angels and demon wants to bone. And they made stuff.
I don't think that's that rare in cosmology in general.
Really?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it
like
that often. Like generally the creation is still
what?
like I've seen it.
That's
Yeah, generally the creation is still like end up being like humanity as one more race of the creation or whatever.
not all. Not like in Greek mythology, we're not created by gods. Like we're like a lot of humanity came out of the mistakes of gods and all the things that they do on the Olympus and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it's that kind of tale of creationism
Yes.
instead of. So as I'm saying, like in a lot of those mythologies, it's not that uncommon for humanity to be created out of just the happenings of or the doings of the gods.
I don't know. That's what I find endearing about the cosmology of Diablo.
Yeah, no, just said that is rare. I'm just saying that is not that
It's not as
rare.
rare as I thought it is, as I think it
Yeah,
is. All right. I find it nice.
it is nice. I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's not nice.
Like I
I'm
think
just
I think it's super nice because it illustrates the conflict between good and evil, and the fact that we have a
fair.
true decision to make inside the cosmology of the game,
We
right?
don't have a decision.
Yeah.
No, we don't make any decisions. We are just part. We're just pawns on the eternal conflict.
Oh my god, we're pawns on the eternal conflict. We as Nephilim have a lot of power of decision to where the eternal conflict aims to. That we're trying to be manipulated, but all the other force is different.
But we don't like in game. We don't really make any decision about it. Like we always fight for humanity.
Yeah.
What if I want to let it burn?
You want to let it burn? Just let it burn. Just forget about it.
That will be making decisions. Like we don't make any decision really. We've been pushing around by Tyrael all the time.
I think my point is we make decisions that we choose who to help or who not to help.
We don't. That's my point. What decisions do we make?
If we fight the demons or we don't fight them, and we fight angels too.
We can only fight. Yeah, but all of that is for the good of humanity. That's not a real decision.
I'm not saying that inside the game you take decision, that there is by the lore there is the potential where the Nephilim can have a real impact into the conflict.
Sure, but
I'm talking about like in the game you make decisions. No.
Also, as part of the lore, as far as I remember, there are not that many Nephilim who just decided to walk away or take side with demons or anything like that.
Well, the first Nephilim, the story of the first Nephilim, which is Radma, if I'm not wrong. Like the son between Lilith and Inaros, the first son, he was like super powerful. Yeah, I think it was Radma. I think there's a story about Radma where he has the power to destroy hell. I think something like that. He has the power to alter reality in a very real sense, to like destroy hell or heaven or destroy sanctuary at all, as being an Nephil, and he just like contains himself and makes the choice of not affecting anything, and he becomes like semi-god out of reality.
But that's one.
Yeah. But that's what I say. Like Nephilim has like had the potential to have like a real impact.
But that's one Nephilim. Like to feel like we really have a saying, there should be more stories like that, not one.
Well, if I'm not wrong, I think it was. All right, I'm trying to remember here. Like, I'm trying to remember because I'm not quite clear with this part of the lore. Let me see if I can find. I think that it has something to do with the power of the Warstone, and the fact that we break the Warstone at the end of Diablo 2, so the power of the Nephilim return. Do you remember that part of the lore?
No.
There's something to do with the Warstone. At the end of Diablo 2, you break the Warstone and you keep like pieces of it. Right? That's why the barbarian race just like couldn't fulfill his duty, which was protect the Warstone. Yeah. Right? So you break the Warstone, and that's why Nephilims at their full power are back in Diablo 3. And that's the explanation why you're so powerful in Diablo 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Nephilim will have a real impact. Yeah.
But again, that was done for the good of humanity.
Okay, yes.
So still, like in lore, we are bounded to whatever is better for humanity.
Guess you want humanity to survive, right? You don't want your world to explode.
That's not real. That's the point. That's not a real decision.
But yeah, it's a decision that you take. Why not?
Because no, what? That's not like if you're bound to that. That's not a real decision.
The thing is, like, we haven't seen the extent of what the Nephilim can do in terms of like because the Diablo 3 story campaign is like very on rails.
Yeah.
But like if Nephilim are back, maybe in Diablo 4 we'll see like what impact can actually they have if just one as Radma could like destroy the entire creation and etc etc.
I'm just saying. I just want more. Like I know that in game it doesn't make sense, and in game we have to side with humanity and fight for humanity or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Okay, but I want to hear more stories of like other Nephilim just making other decisions.
That would be interesting. But the thing that's the thing, like Nephilim hasn't been that prevalent since Ranma
No,
times. Because that's what happened with the end of the Ranma story. He was so powerful that he decided to like
I don't.
protect creation.
But you're mixing two different things. I don't want them to be powerful. I just want an Nephilim to go and take the side of the demons and say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna destroy humanity."
I think they can do it. Like they can absolutely do it.
Yeah, no, they can, but we haven't heard
Calm down.
those stories. That's the
Yeah, we haven't
point.
heard the stories. Hopefully in Diablo 4
So
we'll get those
so
stories.
that so the point is, it doesn't feel like from the things that we know from the lore.
Yes.
Even though they can,
yeah.
it doesn't feel
Like the
we have taken any decision.
All right. Yes.
That's my point.
Okay.
It just there is a problem with the way that these things are presented in general, and it's like, yeah, the lore is in general for most games is pretty open ended in the sense that a lot of things can happen. Oh, it can get wonky.
Yeah.
But if it is not explored or the stories are not told to us, it just doesn't feel like that. Everything feels kind of, oh, we're the good guys. Oh.
Yes.
And it loses impact. That's what I'm saying. Even if there is the possibility of shit going crazy.
Yeah, for Nephilim turning into like deciding that just fuck it and helping the hell to destroy Sanctuary, to take control over it or something like that. That would be super interesting, yes.
Or one of them just walking away and doing something different. Like, I don't
Building
care about
boats.
your
I
fight.
don't know. Painting.
I don't know. Or, something like, I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's
that
possible.
Goes and, I don't know, kidnaps an angel and they fell in love, and it's something completely outside of the war,
Yes.
And I do understand that, like, the eternal conflict is
It's
like
eternal.
the most important part. No, and it's the most important part of the narrative of the game.
Yes, correct, yeah.
But I just want to see
some
more decisions in the stories that they tell us. Like for example, we could have missions where we go and visit other Nephilim who are not protecting humanity like us,
Yeah. Or an
because we
Nephilim
are the
that's
player
like helping a demon and we have to like kill him or something like that. Super interesting, yeah.
Or someone who just decided that he is not gonna help and we're trying to recruit it because he can be helpful and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And we fail or something like that,
Yeah, that would be super interesting. Yeah. But like I'm very clear that Diablo 3 marked the return of the powerful Nephilim to the game. So beyond that, we hope to see in Diablo 4 the impact that they're gonna have with the chaotic nature that we are now. That the end of Diablo 3 left us, right?
Yeah,
that's what we hope for the future lore, because the lore is very interesting in that sense.
The lore is super rich in that sense, and but it needs to explore more in depth.
Yes,
it's so interesting, so underused.
Yes, correct. Because let's talk about angels and demons and good and evil and the eternal conflict into the proper games. What have we seen? We know that there is like a council of angels that decide not to intervene in Sanctuary, and there's like the three primevals, which are Belial, Diablo, and I'm missing one.
Mephisto.
Thank you. which represents a faction of, like, one is the anger, one is I don't remember they're
I don't know. Who
associated with
cares?
stuff. One is the Lord of Terror, the other is the Lord of Lies, and the other is the Lord of Destruction. There you go. And they're like this fundamental. But the most interesting part of that is that they got kicked out of hell by lesser evil, which was the most interesting part of things. Like they got like overthrown in hell by four of the lesser evils, which was like which were where the name, I had them here. Where is it? They were kicked out by Mephisto. Where are they? And the everything, the Warstone, the heavens. Anyway, they were kicked out by other lesser evil to Sanctuary in a weakened state, and they lose control of the forces of hell at some point, right? And then the campaign starts to like trapping evils all in these stones, but the stones are like super unstable because they're like eternal, these very eternal prime sources, and you cannot like stop them. They get off control, and then in Diablo 3 you take like one of the last pieces of the Warstone, which is the thing that keeps Sanctuary balanced and protected from all the external forces. And then the Warstone was destroyed at the end of Diablo 2, but we keep a shard, and in that shard we're storing prime evils to like banish them and stop them from them to do bad stuff. But at the end it results to be all a ploy to like make the ultimate primeval and combine all the primevals to make a super Diablo. And then we kill that super Diablo, but at the same time we destroy the stone where all the other lesser and smaller and medium evils were stored. And in the process too, we kind of destroy part of heaven. So the angel council is in disarray too, and it's just a mess at the end of Diablo 3. And then we have a rebel angel that decides that he's gonna consume all the souls in Sanctuary to become powerful and destroy everything, and we stop that too. And everything is released at the end of that because the Warstone was being guarded by Tyrael at the end of the Diablo 3 normal campaign. And at the end of Reaper of Souls, you end up destroying that stone and liberating all the souls that the bad angel was trying to consume. Right? That's the stage that we're going into for Diablo 4.
Yeah.
Where everybody is back into the war. There is the angel, like the angel council is out of service because they're rebuilding heaven from a shape or another, because they're not regenerating angels, because Diablo, like the ultimate evil, kind of like did a lot of damage to the arch of heaven where the angels come from. And we're at the mercy of all the devils that got released back into the world at the end of Diablo 3.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the eternal conflict. The eternal conflict is heaven and hell just going at it. Just killing themselves over and over, and they're kind of like indestructible at a certain point because they're immortal, so they just keep going. And we're just in the middle of it.
Yeah, but I don't want to help humanity.
You don't want to help him. And then we get the tease that Lilith is coming back for Diablo 4 as the mother of everything, because as we mentioned, Lilith and Inarius decide to fall in love and create a place where they can bone in peace out of the conflict, basically.
I mean, she's coming back because there is a power vacuum in the world. Like just because the soulstone, the black soulstone was destroyed, and all the souls of the demons were released, doesn't mean that the demons themselves are released. Like,
no, because they take some time to come back, right?
They could or they could not. We don't know what happens when they get released.
Yeah, we don't know. They're outside. In theory, they are immortal and they should like regen back at some point, but we don't know how that process works or anything like that. We don't know what's
We don't
happening
know.
in hell, right?
We don't know if they need something to regenerate.
Yeah, we don't know if they need a vessel or some kind of thing, or yeah, we don't know. We don't know how
Yeah.
the whole process, the whole shebang works. So yeah, there's a vacuum power because all the majority
And
of big
yeah,
evils
and that's
are,
where Lilith comes to. Like
yeah, they bring him
she's
back
gonna
her.
take that power position amongst demons.
Yes. So, and she will bring our salvation apparently.
Why salvation?
I don't know. That's what the trailers say. Mother, please save us. From what? I don't know. We'll see in
Ah,
Diablo 4. Yeah.
no, she's just gonna destroy humanity. I hope so.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping. You're hoping that she wants to destroy humanity,
Yeah,
but she created us, and we're okay.
and sometimes you wanna destroy the things that you create.
Fair enough. I will take that. All right. And then one of my big questions about the Lord of Diablo 4 is what's gonna. I hope that's a nice reveal. What happened with Tyrell? With Tyrell, all right. In theory, he should still be the head of the Saccharum, which is the religion that protects Sanctuary through the Nephilim, and through the
I
old
think he's
text.
gonna die.
You think that we're gonna find Tyrell and he's gonna die?
Yeah,
It's time for Tyrell to die, or is he
I
gonna be our
think
new Dick Arcane?
it could be, but I think he needs to die for the story to be impactful because we care about him,
Yeah,
and killing him could make the world feel more dangerous and more.
yeah, because he's the last. Like he's the last thing. He's the last person who knows what's really happened, the knowledge and the
Yeah,
lore behind everything, and how the world works. Because technically, the Saccharum religion trained a bunch of people to know what was really happening inside the world, right? But the Saccharum religion fell down by attacks of the Triune, which is the bad religion that the three evils from hell control, and they lose a bunch of temples, and they lose a bunch of knowledge, and the last remnant was Decker Kane and her niece, and now Decker Kane is dead and her niece is dead. So the last one as of Diablo 3 Reaper Souls that controlled that knowledge and know what was happening was Tyrell. He was rebuilding the Saccharum religion to keep control over sanctuary, keep vigilant over the intervention of hell or heaven.
yeah.
So if this world needs to feel like that dangerous, you should eliminate that. Everything has to feel
I,
weak.
if I had to make a bet, I would bet that he's gonna die.
Yeah, you're gonna kill the poor Tyrael. He'll
Yeah,
suffer enough.
I would like to see that.
Yeah. Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes, that's interesting. So is it
It'll
ever
be an
dark
interesting
enough?
move.
Apparently not.
No, it's
Is it?
it's basically a question: when is dark too much?
Oh, when dark is it too much?
Yeah. Is it ever gonna be too much, or can we just go darker and darker and darker?
When is it gonna stop? Is the question.
Does it have to stop?
Well, that's my question. Does the eternal conflict has a resolution
No,
at
because
the end of this
because it's
cosmology?
eternal.
Yeah, it's is Sanctuary gonna be a crappy place forever?
It's the same reason. Like in the Warhammer 40k
Yeah.
universe,
Oh my
is
god.
there war ever gonna stop? No, because the premise of Warhammer 40k is that there is always war, and
Yeah.
that's all there is.
That's all
And
there
it's the
is
same,
for.
yeah, and it's the same kind of idea for Diablo. It's like the eternal conflict
It's eternal.
is the thing that rules the universe. You know
Conflict
what
is
I'm
the thing.
saying? That's
Oh my
that's the
god.
thing. Like,
It's like, will we ever get tired of the eternal conflict? Would you just wanted to retire and build a farm?
I mean, you as an individual, you can, but the conflict is always gonna happen.
Yeah. And
And I
and
don't think it will end.
and it's interesting because we had like downtime between games where the eternal conflict wasn't that bad. Like there was like this golden age, I think it was before Diablo 1, where the like before Diablo 1 the world was in relative peace because the Warstone were protecting Sanctuary for a long time, and the primevals were under for a long time, and they were just like scheming and doing the religions and that sort of stuff, like kind of setting
Yeah,
up.
but that doesn't mean that the conflict was not going on. Like,
Yeah.
there were still battles between angels and demons. There were still skirmishes.
Yes.
It was still a dangerous place to live on. Like,
Yeah, poor Sanctuary. Don't buy real estate in Sanctuary.
yeah, but it's never gonna change. That's the premise of that universe. That
Yeah, how brutal and dark? I think in Diablo 4 promises to be like really brutal and dark and really dire. And
it does promise that. But do you think they can overdo it?
how you can overdo it something brutal and dark?
I don't know. You can always. Sometimes you can go too far, and I don't know if.
It's like is if you haven't played this, but it's like how dark and depressed can you go with the Dark Souls game, for example, are the example. Like the Dark Souls game begins with a dying world. It's like all the times like everybody's dead, everything's shit. We're just like trying to find this beacon of hope to keep the hope alive, right? And that's the strike. That's what it makes it feel so endearing that you keep. Yeah, you can present it as dark as you want, but the thing that's gonna give you a satisfaction is like if they give you hope, they give you a rate of hope in the darkness. If that rate of hope in the
I
darkness doesn't exist, it's just like all right. Well,
I disagree. I don't.
oh my
I
god.
sometimes. Yeah, I like when there is no hope and there is only survival.
But that's the twist. That's the twist. The twist of the dark. That was my point. The twist of the Dark Souls is like at the end is just like at the end, all the work that you do in Dark Souls is just like giving the world like 20 extra years to survive, something like that. And it's saying you like, yeah, you sacrifice your stuff, but this is not gonna last.
But it's not even that. It's just like I don't want to get like it's not survival like for everyone. It's just survival for yourself. And if you don't fight for yourself, you'll just die.
Yes. So you want that tone, that dark tone, that just like survive in this
Is
insanity
the is
war.
I have said this before. Is the tone of the Warhammer 40k universe?
Yeah,
It's just
it's just surviving war.
is there is just war and there's nothing else and like the condition in which humanity lives is like super dire. Like no one is having a good time anywhere in the universe.
That is true.
And there is no hope of that changing. Like
I think the thing is like if you can tell interesting stories
sure.
in that context, right? You can go
Oh,
you can go as dark as you want as long as you can tell interesting stories in the
I no,
in that
I
context.
completely agree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm just saying there are, I agree. Like you can draw an universe as dark and dire as you want because that's what Warhammer 40k is,
Yeah.
and you can still tell interesting stories
Yes.
that are meaningful for the people who are taking part of the story, but
Yeah.
that they don't mean anything on the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, you can do that as long as you're telling me like, as long as you can tell interesting stories inside that context. Absolutely, you can be as dark as you want.
Yeah,
It
but
can
it's
be.
like even I mean, what I like about that is that when you stop and think about, is this gonna have any effect on the world? And the answer is no. Oh, that's so good. Such a good feeling.
Yeah, it's like what kind of story are you trying to tell? I feel like in Diablo 3 you're trying to tell the story of, oh, the Nephilims are back, so you're gonna save Sanctuary. Right? That's the story that Diablo 3 wants to tell, right? In Diablo 1, it's like you have to go and fix this problem with this demon because it's gonna destroy everything around. You go and half fix the problem.
No, I think the moral of the Diablo games is that you're running a race that you cannot finish.
You're just patching up stuff.
Not only that, but it's kind of a circular process. Like you'll fight the demons, you'll trap them somewhere, and
Yeah.
you'll escape, and everything is gonna restart again.
Oh my
And
god.
there is no escape from that loop.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. You cannot break the wheel.
Yeah. Because when you do, like, just the game ends, like the premise of the whole game finishes,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
cannot
Yes.
have more games on
Yes.
the Diablo universe.
Okay. So yeah, the eternal conflict is eternal.
Yeah, but I like that. I like the idea that no matter what we do, no matter how many demons do we slash and trap in stones and MacGuffins and books and magic, it is always gonna restart at the end. Like,
They always want
I
to
like
come
that
back.
idea.
Yeah. You like that idea of eternal conflict?
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it really interesting because like my point is like from a human point of view in terms of how do you tell a story, you always have to give them either false or true hope of that of that you're gonna make something happen because of that story. My point is like there is no better motivation for humans to do something than hope.
Uh,
Hope of you're gonna live
uh,
one more day, hope of that you're gonna make a change, hope of that you're gonna find food, whatever.
I don't.
Right? If
Hope
something is
and
dirty and
like hope.
condemned and nothing, you sit there and let you consume or die or whatever. But if you have the hope that you're gonna change something at some point, that's the better motivator to tell a story. Even if it's a false hope, right?
Fair.
You can tell even stories where it was a false hope and then you end up just like telling learning a lesson of like everything is crap.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's fair enough.
There you go. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Remember?
I guess I would like to see a game where they're not telling a story of hope, but just of resignation.
Yeah, it'd be so sad, but that would be super interesting. But remember that like dark, like by quoting several movies, like dark is really dark before the dawn, right? The night is most dark before the dawn. But the point of that is like you see through darkness when you have something to contrast it with. You don't have to contrast, and you only see darkness. Well, you will only see darkness and point. And that's the end, right? You need to have contrast to make it interesting.
Do you really?
Yes, you do.
Do you really?
You need the contrast to make it interesting. If not, you end up like, oh, what is the point?
Yeah, but again, from the things that I know about Warhammer 4K, there is no point to anything. Like,
There is point of war. There'll always be like the point of trying to push away, trying to survive. The point of the of Warhammer 40k and the war conflict is trying to for humanity to survive, not to thrive, to survive, right? And that's the
yeah,
contrast. That's the light. The survival
yeah,
part
but
thing is the
there
light.
is no like living another day, like another shitty day, is not a light. Like, is not the light at the end of the tunnel.
But it is a light. I think
No,
I
it's
think
not.
we're getting into a philosophical discussion.
No, no, it's not philosophical. It's just like it's, for example, the idea that when they like, how do I put it? When you recruit Space Marines,
Yeah.
you indoctrinate them to know that they're just gonna die. Like,
Yes.
their end game in life is just to die,
Yes.
which I find amazing. That's
But they're dying.
all.
They're dying for a cause. They're dying for the emperor. The emperor.
Yeah, but
There you go.
that's because they've been brainwashed to
Yeah.
believe that the emperor.
It's a false hope, but still hope. That's my point.
Maybe.
There you go.
Maybe.
Anyway, Diablo is campy and cheesy. Why is it so good? What do you mean by campy and cheesy? It's very serious.
Diablo is super campy. Haven't you listened to what we were talking about?
Yes.
Like, the story is super campy.
Well, camping in which sense?
But we were talking about demons and angels.
Yes.
It's super campy.
very classic campiness of stuff, but the lore is super interesting.
Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Fair enough.
But it's super campy. You have to admit it. Like, you have to objectively agree that it's just campy and cheesy because we're just fighting demons because we believe that we can end eternal conflict, and that's a cheesy idea.
Yeah, well, because if we beat evil, then we win, and peace and stuff. When
it's a cheesy idea.
Yeah, when you can never beat a demon truly, just trap it. But beyond that,
but it's a cheesy idea. Like, and the whole setting of the game about fighting demons, it's campy.
Yeah, it's super classic. Like, you're gonna be like more basic than, oh yeah, what is your job? You fight demons for the good. All right.
Yeah. That's what I mean. That even though I find it super interesting, it's campy and it's cheesy.
Fire bad, tree pretty kind of stuff.
I guess so.
Yeah. Even if like we've been presented with bad angels at the end of like Reaper of Souls, when like an angel can be bad and heaven is
but
not
that's
what it is.
That's the most nuanced attempt that the game has ever presented.
Yeah, because you find like on all that preparation of the lore for Diablo 3 or the animations and comics made around it, it was trying to tell us, even like if heaven sounds nice, they're actually a bunch of like dick people.
True.
Yeah. So that's when they're trying to like get away from that cheesiness of like classic, you just kill demons because they're bad and evil. Woohoo.
But it's cheesy, like,
absolutely.
So and that's the point. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
and the point is that you can make like an interesting game and a somehow interesting world with a really cheesy premise of we're just killing demons.
Absolutely.
And with zero nuance because we're always the good guys.
Yeah, we know that demons are bad and they kill people and they're bad. Yeah.
Demons are bad, angels are good.
There you
Even
go.
though they can be dicks, and they're fundamentally good. Like,
yeah.
And they, like, some of them are dicks just because that's what they are. But
yes.
But they're fundamentally good things.
Yes. Technically speaking, yes.
Not technically, like they're just some of them are just simple-minded, but they're fundamentally good.
All right. Fair enough.
And the point is that even with such a simple premise, like
Yeah.
you can tell interesting stories and you can create a narrative that it's
That is compelling and interesting
that it's
around that like
compelling.
simple
Yeah,
premise. Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is
that's
true.
that's my point. So
That's why it's so
that
good.
that's why it's so good. That's because you end up forgetting that it's a super cheesy
Super
game. Like
simple, yeah. Yeah, yeah, in the story that tell. Absolutely, yes, yes.
and that's the success. It's
Yes, yes.
built on a simple premise, but you get to enjoy it
Yeah, and
no
like
matter.
again, if you want to go deep into the lore of Diablo, it's like super complex and it's twists and turns and betrayals. But at the end of the day, it's like fire battery pretty. You just want to kill demons, but the stories that they're telling you about it around the simple premise are super interesting, super enduring.
Yeah,
That's the point. All right, most memorable enemy or fight in the games.
yeah. So in your whole experience with the Diablo franchise, what was your most memorable either enemy or fight or encounter? I guess.
Let me think about it. All right.
Think about it.
The most memorable fight in Diablo 3.
Or Diablo 2 or Diablo.
Let me, I, everybody always like says like the most cliche answer is the butcher, right?
Yeah, but I'm asking you.
Yeah, the most cliche. And I was thinking like, all right, the butcher, yes, it's super very impactful. But I think the one that I enjoyed a lot was the first time that I went through the game. It was this, I forgot. Um, the first enemy, the first demon that you encounter under Tristram, you're going through the first boss that you encounter under Tristram when you're going through the campaign.
The Skeleton King?
The Skeleton King. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I feel it's super nice, super well set up, and like the story they're telling you that he used to be good and he tried to do this, but he went ended up being corrupted. I find that super endearing, and it was like the first contact. And it was like the design was interesting and the way that he like assembles himself. It was super cool, right? And then in terms of fight, the end like the Diablo, the super mega Diablo fight was super interesting because he summons your own shadow and then he's almost like evils and then he hides into darkness. And the first time that you're
Yeah.
going through it is like super difficult to do. And then he has a lot of phases and he hits like a truck if you're not careful enough. Those two are the first one. And Diablo 3 because I experienced a lot more of Diablo 3 than the other games.
Yeah, fair.
And for me, those two are super memorable. The first time that you find the Skeleton King and the story around him, and then
Fair.
they are in terms of mechanics and difficult of boss and interesting encounter was the Diablo 3, the primeval fight at the end.
Yeah.
What about
Yeah,
you?
for me, in Diablo 2, one of the
Yeah,
first missions that you do is like this transition. Is this mission that is basically taking you from the first zone that you play into the second zone and that they are connected through a cave?
yeah,
Like that the mission that basically tells you you need to go through the cave and clean everything up to go to the next place.
yeah.
I don't know, when I played the first time, it was mind blowing. I don't know why, but I thought
Yeah,
it's the only way to go. Like for whatever reason, when I played, I thought if I ever want to change zones, I have to go through a cave, and I found that idea amazing. and I really like it.
Of like connecting two zones through a cave.
Through a dungeon, because basically a
Ah,
cave is
all
like a
right.
randomly
Yeah,
generated.
connected two zones through a dungeon. Back in that time, back in Diablo 2.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
not true because like you end up unlocking one of the teleportation things,
yeah, yeah,
but
of course. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was just when I played, I was like, whoa,
The fact that
that's
I have to
amazing.
like clean this dungeon to go to the other
Yeah,
zone and it is not all the way through it and it's like super interesting. That's super interesting because generally when you change from zone to zone, it's just change from the other zone and that's it. The story continues.
yeah,
Right? The fact that they make you go through a gauntlet to go to the other zone, it is super interesting to you.
it was when I first played, and yeah, I also remember the first time that I cleaned that passage.
Cool, really interesting. But it wasn't that all the premise of Diablo 1 when you were cleaning zones to go deeper?
Yeah, but that was not the first time that I encountered that.
What was the first time that you encountered that?
In Diablo 2, I just told you.
Ah, all right. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, now I get it. So I think that was the basic premise of the Diablo thing that for you to advance you have to clean up levels, and that was very innovative back in the day in Diablo 1, right?
Probably. I'm just saying that I remember that
And
first
they
mission when
yeah,
they make you do that, and it was
super
like, yeah,
cool.
I like
Yes,
it.
super cool. Yeah,
It
interesting.
also made it feel dangerous at the time because, like, you know that when you get to like when you get to the tunnels,
Yeah,
like it will be a completely different layout with the spam monsters all over again. So it was never safe
and
to
you don't
go
know what
through.
to expect when you go down here, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
and that helped to the whole feeling of this is a dangerous world.
Yeah, when if you wanted to go from any place, you have to like fight a horror demons
Yeah,
to do the simple task of traveling somewhere else.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's very interesting. That's very Dark Souls like feeling. I
I don't
absolutely
know.
get
Never
what.
played the game. Don't crow the game.
Yeah, it's kind of similar. If you want to go to point A to point B to do like the most banal thing of picking up something, it makes you feel like that real dread and that you can die at any moment, that everything is dangerous and difficult to do. So kind of like that close feeling.
I guess I don't care about Dark Souls.
I know. We know.
That game could disappear, and I wouldn't care at all.
I know. That's okay.
Of course, it's okay. It's an opinion.
It's okay. It's okay.
I would destroy that game with my own hands, and I wouldn't feel a thing.
Okay.
I wouldn't flinch.
You wouldn't flinch. It's a good franchise. It's good games. They're good games. Not for you, but they're good games.
I I don't have any Fs to give about that game.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's a thing. It's a thing.
Sure, it's a thing that I don't have any Fs to give.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Anyways, very interesting, like kind of different feelings. Like for me, the presentation of the skeleton king was very cool, and the fight against Diablo was it felt like very difficult fight back when
Yeah,
I experienced it the first time,
the,
and
the,
it
the
was
first time,
really nice.
yes, that fight is super challenging.
Yeah, because you spend all this time trying to kill him the first time, and then he's not actually dead. He teleported you to this zone when you don't know where he's gonna appear and like slap you in the face, and then you have to fight against your own shadow, and that hits hard too. And then you have to go back and still kill him one more time. It's like super hard, super epic, really cool.
Yeah,
Anyways, what speculations about the future of D4 lore? Where are we going with Lilith? With
yeah.
the dude who released it, are we gonna see Inarius, which is being tortured by his dad? What are the intentions of Lilith?
Yeah, what do you think? What do you want to see? What do you expect? Give me your wildest.
I what I find most interesting about that is like they have this reset button in their hands, right? I think I'm telling you this multiple times,
Is that
right?
your wildest
No,
dream
no,
of the
no, no,
game?
no, no, no. I'm gonna keep going.
That's what
Okay.
I'm asking.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm gonna build to it. So I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. I hope. I don't know what Lily's gonna do if he's. It would be super interesting if she becomes a deity for humanity, and they're gonna start following her, whatever she's trying to do with humanity, right? If she becomes the beacon of salvation, even if she's a demon, right? Like that. That
Okay,
would be
so
the most.
if that was the case, who would be the big body of the game?
Who would be the big baddie of the game if
Yeah.
Lily's not the big baddie of the game? It would be super
Yeah.
interesting if at the end heaven will make the decision of destroy sanctuary and you will end up like destroying heaven and hell will help you.
So you're saying switch inside?
Yes.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
And that actually Lily is our salvation because she is gonna give us the tools to destroy heaven, the true knowledge of the Nephilim, because she's the one of the creators of manipulators and creators of the war stone and or our own nature, right?
Yeah.
And that will end up the eternal conflict. What will happen if we consume or destroy the spine of Ishtar?
But that breaks the premise that we just talked about, that we
Yeah,
cannot
just
end
break the
eternal
game.
conflict.
Just break the internal conflict.
No, but we cannot.
We can. We're gonna try. That'll be the most interesting part.
Okay, we can try, but like we cannot break the eternal conflict.
Why not? What happened? What happened? What will happen if you destroy the spine of Ishtar?
It is in the name.
There will be no more angels.
It is in the name. It is the eternal conflict.
But what will happen? It's possible. It's possible to actually destroy.
No, it's not possible. That's the point.
Yes, like that was what the primeval was doing. He actually get to damage the spine of Ishtar. That's why Heaven closed his doors down.
But it is not destroyed, and there are still angels.
It's damaged. He's not producing new angels right now.
Right now, but it will heal and it will produce more angels eventually.
Who knows? What happened? We finished that job.
It cannot happen.
If finally Heaven took the decision of destroy Sanctuary because it's nothing but trouble.
Sure, that's all fine and good. There is nothing wrong with it. That wouldn't end the eternal conflict.
But if we by the hand of Lilith are guided to destroy Heaven in his totality.
But that will finish the whole premise of the game.
What's wrong with that?
That you just destroy the possibility of more games.
What's wrong with that?
What I just said. That's what's wrong with that.
There you go. That'll be the most interesting thing. But I think the retraining of all these old demons, or like maybe if there's a way to close down Sanctuary once more, that'll be interesting too. Like if you can close Sanctuary to the influence from heaven and hell, which was the original plan of Lilith and Inaris.
Yeah.
Right? That'll be the most interesting thing.
That will be okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I just want to see more different players in the conflict.
Yeah.
I want to see. I want to see if they can create something new, like a third.
A third player.
Yeah.
There is still primeval forces like Tragul.
Yeah, but there are still demons.
Oh yeah. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like you can, of course, you can bring like third players to affect the conflict. Like Tragul, he's one of the primeval forces that is not associated to Alun, the creator of this universe. He's from another dimension or something like that.
Like, okay, sure,
Right? That way
but
you can introduce like third players in that sense.
that doesn't feel that different. I don't know. I
I
don't
know,
know why.
maybe we can go into a quest of rebuilding the Warstone.
Eh, Sure, but what would we gain with that?
So, what do you think that? So, the same question. What do you think the intentions of Lily is? Does she want to absolutely erase humanity and destroy Sanctuary once and for all, as
I don't think so.
every single primeval has tried?
I'm okay with that.
Right?
Like the point is that I'm okay with the premise of the game.
Of the eternal conflict. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I'm completely okay with that. I already accepted that premise,
All
so I
right.
don't see anything wrong with that.
So it will be the story of Lily trying to destroy Sanctuary once more, and we, as the player, are being helped by somebody, and we're gonna stop her.
Yeah, I'm okay with that
Super
story.
simple, super cool, super
I would be
nice.
okay with that.
I would prefer something like actually revolutionary to have like a demon ally. That would be super interesting.
Okay, sure.
We had like angel allies, but we haven't had demon allies. That would be super interesting. Like
Yeah, I mean, you can have a demon ally, but like, it's still the same basic conflict. That's what I'm saying.
the eternal war rages on. Woo woo.
I like that. Like, I like that premise. That's my point, and I'm okay with the premise. I
Yeah.
accept that that's what the world of Diablo is.
Yes.
No.
Yes. We should, but we should like. I don't know. I will spec. I think they probably will tell small stories about like, oh, this demon is trying to take control of this zone, so you have to go and stop it and do something about it. I think we're gonna get like small stories building up to whatever Lily's trying to do overall, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But I would like to see something like revolutionary, like a demon ally, or like you trying to rebuild the Word Stone to protect against, or trying to close one of the portals or something like that.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, all of those things are possible, but as long as the eternal conflict keeps going on, I'm okay with that.
Or maybe you can like tell a story about ascending, like you as a Nephilim ascend to a plane like where Radma live, something like that. Then you escape the conflict by
Yeah,
ascending, lol, to a higher plane
that's
of
kind of
existence.
that's kind of boring, I guess.
It is a thing that could happen.
Yeah, but it's kind of boring in my opinion.
The ascension thing is boring,
Yeah, because for me the interesting part is the conflict, not just escaping it.
or solving it, or like intriguing it.
Winning is not interesting.
Winning is not interesting.
No, that's the most boring outcome.
I don't know. We can have like an interesting story with a satisfying end.
But like, what a satisfying end is for you could not be for me.
That is true. That is true.
Like for me, a satisfying end is an end where the conflict keeps going on.
Fair enough.
That is satisfying because that's what I want from the game.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I would like
I
us.
want I want all the efforts to be futile and just conduct into nothing.
Fair enough, because technically, like in the original campaign of Diablo 3, we had a satisfying end.
It was a very loose end.
It was satisfying, and we killed the primeval, and he come back to his black soul stone, and the black soul stone was contained, and that's it.
Yeah, but like if you have played the other games, you know that that's not a definite solution.
No, that's just like, well, technically it was a definite solution till the other engine came in and tried to put every single soul in existence inside the black soul stone to gain power.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like that's part of what the eternal conflict is. That there is always something that's gonna happen that's gonna keep the conflict going on.
Yes, that's true. But we can have, like, that's what I'm telling you. We can have a satisfying end, even if the conflict is going on.
What? Yeah, but my point is, I didn't felt satisfied with that with the ending because I thought, oh, we defeated the thing and we trapped it.
Yeah.
For me, it was satisfying because I knew that was not gonna be the end. Like
All right.
I knew that was just a temporal thing, and the conflict was gonna. There are still more demons, and like just the conflict didn't end, and that's what was satisfying for me at the time.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
I don't want a happy ending out of Diablo.
Yeah, that's not the point of Diablo.
Yeah, exactly. And just killing the primals.
Yeah, but technically you
Yes.
cannot kill him anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, but like we defeated it and we trapped it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a little part of the whole thing.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't find satisfaction on the fact that we trapped it. I find satisfaction in the fact that I knew something else was gonna happen that will reset the cycle of the conflict.
And then keep the conflict going on because there is
Yeah.
only war.
Yeah. And I like that idea.
Cool. All right. Interesting. Fair. Is it your point? Is it your point?
I don't want happy endings. I want my conflict to be eternal.
I think at the end of the day, what we want from D4 is satisfying stories, cool stories to be told inside that eternal conflict world.
I want cool stories with a background of desperation and sadness.
Oh my god.
That's what I want from Diablo.
That sounds cool. That sounds cool. Yeah, I would take that. I would take it. Yeah.
That's what I want because that's what Diablo is for me.
Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we want, and I think the developers know, and they coming back with that.
I hope.
That, like,
for me,
tone
Diablo
of
is a tale of desperation, and that's what I want.
Yeah, I think they're way on their way by the things that we're seeing about the game. But I think that's it for our deep dive on the lore of Diablo. It's crazy, it's campy, it's interesting, it's simple, full of twists and turns, full of weird things.
Yeah.
Full of great characters like Tyrell, like Deckard Cain. Full of cool stories like the moments of the Butcher. But yeah, we really like the lore. If you wanna, we didn't go that deep into what the lore specifically is and all the details and that sort of stuff. But there's great videos about it that we recommend you to check out. Yeah.
Like really, as long as you keep in mind that there's an eternal conflict, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Yes.
That's the idea.
Yeah, you wanna go to the minutia of it. You can go and find in YouTube great Riker lore videos with their amazing voice.
Also, sadly, a lot of the lore is not presented in game.
Yeah, sadly, that's the other thing. Yeah.
There are a
Sadly,
lot
directly,
of novels and comics.
Yeah, novels and comic and books and sort of stuff like the direct lore. You get glimpses of it inside the games. You get like the story of, for example, in Diablo 3, you get like the what Deckard Cain has been waiting for and the prophecy of the falling star. You get the story of the wizard, right?
Yep.
You get the fact that the lizard evil has declared a full-on invasion campaign into Sanctuary. Like like making advantage of the fact that the bigger evil, the prime evils, are trapped,
Yep.
so decide to just go and invade sanctuary, and nobody cares. You get those sort of stories, but the overall like cosmology, lore, and origin of this thing is like very like tomes and comics and side stories. That's the thing.
It is. Yeah, it is. Sadly, and it's really interesting. And I wish they would explore more of that in game.
Yeah, but I
And and
but it's like it's as you say, because the premise is so easy. You don't
yep.
feel like you're missing much.
Oh no, you're definitely not missing
Yeah.
anything.
You don't feel like you're
Like
missing much because the stories that they're telling you in the games are cool, interesting, and compelling.
yeah, I think I would like to listen to some of these stories in game.
Yeah.
Like again, in that narrative of the old guy telling me something.
Yeah, telling something cool. Yeah. Yeah. I will agree to
You know what
that.
I mean.
Yes, absolutely.
I would like that, and I think that could be a nice opportunity to recapture for me the feeling of an old tale
Yes.
while expanding and exploring.
The lore, the big lore that
Yeah,
they've been creating for the game. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And with that we finish our deep dive.
yeah.
We hope that D4 brings us great stories. And we move on to our audience questions and feedback.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So we have a couple of questions for the last episode when we talk about gameplay and optimization of Diablo 3. So the first question is, what is your favorite item or set of Diablo 3?
Chicken set.
That is Sunimasa?
No,
No,
is the
Helltooth?
no is
What?
the it's a dagger and an offhand for the
the two piece chicken,
yeah,
chicken dog.
yeah,
The
chicken
knife and the
set.
chicken in the hand.
Yeah,
Yeah, the chicken dog set that lets you
chicken set.
transform into a chicken
Yeah,
infinitely.
yeah,
That's your favorite item set in the whole game.
yeah, because it makes speed running super fun.
Okay, all right. For me, I think my favorite set of Diablo 3 is the Jade Harvester set.
Hmm?
I really like, even if my favorite class is the monk, I really like the Jade Harvester set in the Witch Doctor because it's a different, like, there's nothing like it in the game.
Yeah,
There's nothing like it in the game in any other classes. Like all the general classes, like yeah, you hit with this stuff that does a lot of things, but the fact that Jade Harvester kills stuff by dotting them, by like infecting them, and then you have like triggers to accelerate the process, and then you can have like a complete screen all full of dots and like infections and stuff, and then you nuke everything from it. I feel, and then you see the little souls going out and searching all the stuff. I feel like super cool in terms of all the sets that I've seen, in terms of all the gameplay. And I play every class in this game. Like I play Barbarian, I play May, I play Demon Hunter, and nothing is so satisfying as the Jad Harvester set and what you have to do and the way that you have to play it
but
and the dot
the most
set.
satisfying thing is exploding a chicken beneath the feet of the enemy. That's the most satisfying thing.
Imagine that, but with like an entire screen.
No, chicken. There's nothing else to say.
Chicken. You get your chicken soup, and you want it, and yes.
Chickens. It's just a chicken running, exploding things.
But
There is nothing better than that.
I don't know. I really love the Jade Harvester set, and for so long wasn't viable, and I still play it because I love the gameplay of it. I love the dot things, and I love what you have to do to make that gameplay cool. And it was so much different to what the Witch Doctor offers in the rest of the kit.
Chicken soup. That's all I'm saying.
All right. You want chicken soup? Fair.
I want chicken soup. That's what I like.
Fair enough. And then our second question is, have you ever tried PoE, Path of Exile, in this round?
Yeah. I
So,
have
You have.
for like a couple of missions. I have
Yeah?
never get into. I see a complexity, and I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that many games.
That's the problem. You don't have time for that many games. That's fair. How do you find the gem system for the abilities?
For what I saw, it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting, the combination. I did play.
It's really interesting because you can get fairly early into a setup that you like with the gems,
Yeah.
and then you enter the race of like polishing the setup
Yes.
and finding the right passives for the thing that you like.
Yeah.
So I
the
like
right
that
items.
approach, that you can arrive to a game style, quote unquote,
Really early.
somehow early,
Yeah.
and then the rest of the game is just to boost it so that you can actually clear the content.
Yes.
But no, I like it. It's an interesting approach to a skill system.
Cool. I did play PoE back in August, as I just mentioned. I found it really interesting, but my problem with it is that I find it really hard to evaluate items into the game. Because it has a bunch of variables into it. In like, there's some early items that can help you till the end of the game. So when you pick up an item, you need like these filters to know what is good or what is bad. It's not as easy as to look at the item and compare what you have, because you have to see if you have enough resistance. Like, it has this complexity about the items that I found really unnecessary at some point for the evaluation of the items, because it forces you to be careful when you pick, and how do you generate resources with what you pick, and you need like a lot of other filtering. And I don't know, I found that system, that particular item system, really convoluted in that sense.
I like it.
Okay.
And I like the fact that I can make mistakes and that they're meaningful mistakes.
Yes, that's interesting. Yeah, but I don't know. And the other things, like as I say, the tree system. There's a bunch of like unnecessary things in the passive tree systems.
I just said I don't mind that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing about Path of Exile. And that's our questions and feedback. There we go.
Is that it? That's it?
That's it.
That's all for this week's episode.
Yes.
Once again, thanks for tuning in into The Sweaty and the Farmer and the Game Design. My name is Lucho, and you can find me on Twitter at Luis G. Polanco.
And I am the Long Name Gamer, and you can find me on Twitter at the Long Name Gamer, and on Twitch on twitch.tv/LongNameGamerTV, where I stream Mondays to Fridays. And you can go and see me playing a lot of these games. I will probably be on the launch of this week, of this next season 19, playing Diablo 3. And if you can answer, I will answer questions about the game, and you can pass by the stream, say hello.
Yeah.
Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and do the notification bell thingy, because apparently it's important for YouTube. Like, tomorrow will be important to, I don't know, pie face a video, or like, I don't know, do circles around it. The algorithm changed day to day. But subscribe and do the notification to The Sweaty, the Farmer, and the Game Design. I love you all, boys. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. And did you know the health benefits of bell peppers include reduces bad cholesterol, apparently, controls diabetes, brings relief from pain and eases inflammation, boosting the immune system, good for nervous system and helps renew cells, keeping skin and hair looking youthful, maintaining eye health, and play a protective role in certain types of cancer. We have another miracle vegetable/fruit in our hands, Lucho.
We always do. And red capsicums compared to green, orange, and yellow ones are the sweetest, especially if they're not picked until ripe, while the green colored fruit are the least sweet and are often just unripened red fruit.
All right. Do you like capsicum? Are you a big fan of capsicum?
I am.
All right. So we have the miracle cure for everything on the capsicum. Eat capsicum, boys. Everybody on the internet needs to eat capsicum.
Just eat vegetables.
Just eat
like normal human beings.
We're gonna do the proper PCA. Eat your vegetable, kids. Don't forget to eat your vegetables.
Yeah, that's more than enough to stay healthy.
Do you eat your vegetables?